I've been all in my phone, I got options.
People love the idea of confidence until they actually see it on you. Let's talk about it. There's a difference. There's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. Me being confident is like, oh yeah, like I'm a baddie, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm smart, I'm beautiful, all those things. Me being cocky is like, she could never. I think people's response to you being insecure, needing validation, will receive more of a positive response than signaling to people that you are secure in yourself. Regardless of what energy you put out, somebody's response to that is always going to be a reflection of what's going on in their inner world. Are you going to choose to be miserable because that's what somebody else is choosing for themselves? You deserve to be happy with your life. You deserve to love who God made you to be. Are you going to be miserable with the person that you were chosen to be in this lifetime? Or are you going to make the most of it, you know? I do think a lot of problems are caused by misery. There's a lot of things that will be perceived as a distraction because they're not contributing to the type of person that you feel like you're meant to be in this lifetime. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Horchatamamita back with another video. Oh, it's a tongue twister. But if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is pivotal in terms of your self-love journey. I feel like at the root of everything, as I've emphasized before, is self-love. You know, like your relationship with yourself very much does set the tone for your relationships with other people, your relationship with other things, and basically what your life ends up looking like. Like your inner world, once again, manifests into your reality, is what I strongly believe. So today's video is going to be about confidence and the importance of confidence. How essentially confidence can transform your life. And I'm also going to throw some affirmations in here because I feel like for me, that's why I enjoy like a lot of like the content that I consume, a lot of the podcasts, even when I'm scrolling on Instagram. Like I think over the years I've learned to just be a little bit more intentional about what I'm consuming, right? Like I love beauty, I love fashion, makeup, all of those things, but I also equally love neuroscience. I also love, I don't even want to say self-help. I feel like it sounds so like you're not therapizing, but it just sounds a lot more intense than I think it needs to. But essentially just like content that promotes, you know, confidence, self-love, healing, and basically consists of affirmations. And so I feel like just throwing those in this video would also be really helpful in just showing you guys, like to help you guys instill some of these affirmations that have helped me on my journey, that I regularly, or you know, somewhat regularly say to myself as I'm again working on my relationship with myself and really trying to reinstate like confidence in me. So with that being said, guys, of course I'm gonna hook you guys up with a little chit chat. Get ready with me. We're gonna chat and we're also gonna do our makeup. That's honestly inspired by this recent look I did in Maryland. Not to get too much into that, but like essentially my cousin and I just went to see Summer Walker in Maryland. And during that trip, I don't know, I just really wanted to like tap into like a little bit more color since, you know, summer is finally here. Also, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but like I'm actually wearing a shirt, for the record, just in case anybody was checking for me. But yeah, I was like playing around with color a little bit during the trip. So there was this one look I did and I was like, okay, like I was really messing with it. Like I've recently really been loving like the pastels, as you can tell by the top. And yeah, I think I'm gonna tap into that right now, like during the season, because why not? Like this is the best time to experiment with color. During the winter, that's honestly one of my least favorite things. I mean, honestly, that list is kind of long. I really don't like winter, but I hate the fact that I have to just hold back when it comes to colors because I love me some color, okay? So I do love my neutrals, but I also do love me, again, my little pastel colors, my baby blues, my like powder pinks. I love me an orange during summer, I will say that. Like a bright, rich, in a way that's a spider. Oh, I swear, a bright, rich orange, like, I don't even know what color that would even be, but like, I love like a butter yellow. Anyways, guys, I'm getting distracted as expected. But just to say, I've been loving the colors lately, okay? Yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with our chit chat. We have good amount to discuss, as we always do, sisters. As I'm pretty sure I used last time, I'm using the Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer. So on the topic of confidence, right? I feel like it sounds kind of self-explanatory, but we gotta dive into it a little bit more. We need to talk about it. Like, I feel like there's there's some stuff to discuss. So initially, I guess when I think about confidence and why it's honestly, I'm not gonna say it's not stressed enough, but like subconsciously, I think that, and I feel like a lot of influencers, especially like people with a platform, they talk about this, but people love the idea of confidence until they actually see it on you. Let's talk about it. And the reason why I say this, I'm gonna get into that. Probably are wondering like, what do you mean by that, Stella? What I mean is that people love the idea of you thinking highly of yourself until it like kind of threatens somebody's self-perception. And to further expand on that, I want to first clarify, right, that there's a difference. There's a fine line between confidence and cockiness, okay? There's a difference between confidence and cockiness. I'm gonna repeat myself, because I do think some people take it a little too far, right? Where I draw the distinction is being confident is like internal. It's really just related to yourself, right? Like your personal relationship with yourself. You seeing yourself highly. You thinking highly of yourself. You and feeling secure about the type of person that you are, etc., etc. When it comes to cockiness, I feel like where the line is, it goes beyond. It surpasses the relationship with yourself. It's more so like your security in yourself dependent on you being demeaning or you being condescending towards other people, you know, like essentially it's at the expense of other people's self-worth. And so I think that's the biggest difference. Like me being confident is like, oh yeah, like I'm a baddie, blah blah blah, like I'm smart, I'm beautiful, all those things. Me being cocky is like, she could never, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it is low-key dependent again on putting other people down, essentially. I think that's the simplest way to describe it. And again, in order to be confident, that's not necessary, babes. If anything, I think that signals actual insecurity, in my opinion, because it's like, why am I worried about, in general, this is just how I operate, but why am I worried about like what Jessica has going on? Like that has nothing to do with me, for real. Like if I'm thriving, if I, you know, I'm happy with who I am and where I'm at in life, then I don't need to be worried about what anybody else has going on. Like I don't need to sit here and compare myself. I don't need to sit here and think about like how pretty somebody else is, or I guess in this situation, like not even how pretty, but like how, you know, unattractive somebody else is, because it's not dependent on that. It's very much, again, secure, meaning it exists independently. I just want to clarify that. Back to my original point though, I feel like people love the idea of confidence until, once again, their own self-perception is threatened. With that being considered, like it's kind of like, not that it's discouraged, but I think people's response to you being insecure, you like needing validation and looking for validation, again, in the context of social media, let's focus on that, will receive more of a positive response than indicating, you signaling to people that you are secure in yourself, because it's threatening. And I will say though that like somebody's own self-perception, because again, everything's about projection, right? Like everything's always projection. Whatever's going on with you, whatever's going on with her, 9 times out of 10 is going to be reflected on certain situations, on certain people, certain things. That's to say that like, okay, even though it's like not necessarily encouraged to be confident, right? Even though there's more positive response to a lack of confidence in society, maybe creating some resistance in being confident because you're fearful of maybe somebody feeling like you're full of yourself, or like you think you're better than everyone else. Like you essentially threatening other people or stepping on other people's toes because you are confident. Like, even though that's a natural feeling, I'm sorry, that was like a long-winded way of explaining that. At the end of the day, understanding that everything is a projection and understanding that regardless of what energy you put out, somebody's response to that is always going to be a reflection of what's going on in their inner world, I think should be an indication that you should just be confident anyways, right? Because like, if someone's insecure, they're gonna be insecure, period. So what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna sit here and like be miserable and not see your potential, not see like, you know, your own self-worth because you're afraid of making Erica feel some type of way? Like, if she wants to feel a type of way, she's gonna feel a type of way, period. Like, and like, it's just giving like misery loves company. Are you gonna choose to be miserable because that's what somebody else is choosing for themselves? There's gonna be miserable people, and there's also gonna be super confident people. That goes back to things I've already told you guys before about like finding your own community, finding people that are for you. Like there will also equally be people who will love to see you thrive, love to see you glow, like love to see you love on yourself. So like, why not just do that? You know, like essentially, I guess what I'm getting at is don't make decisions based off of how you feel like other people are gonna take, how you feel like other people are gonna like respond to them. You know, like don't live your own life. Don't build a relationship with yourself based on other people's reactions or other people's feelings towards that. Like, it's your life to live. I tell you guys this all the time. If I could get a fucking t-shirt, I would. It's pointless, you know? Like, you deserve to be happy with your life. You deserve to love who God made you to be. Even if you're not, like, religious, you know? Like, love the person that you were created to be. Because that's the only person that you can be in this lifetime. Like, okay, we can talk about reincarnation and other spiritual theories, but just given what we know and what we have right now, like, you might as well make the most of it. Like, are you gonna be miserable with the person that you were chosen to be in this lifetime, or are you gonna make the most of it, you know? So I feel like these questions are like really important to just like think about, essentially, just to encourage you to like, again, work on your confidence, because like life is too short to not be like, hey, I'm that girl. Like, I'm not perfect. I still have like ways to go, you know, like things that I need to work on, but there are also so many things that I have to offer. There are so many ways that I, you know, can make this world better than how I found it, you know? Even though there might be a fear of like evil eye, people wishing the worst on you, or people being envious of you, or people feeling threatened by your confidence, choose to be confident anyway, because there's gonna be people who embrace that. And at the end of the day, those are the people that are for you, because why would you choose people who don't want you to feel good about yourself? That's kind of backward. We're not gonna do that. And it's like, ultimately, like, I guess to expand on that point, people will feel how they feel about your level of confidence, whether that be them feeling envious or them feeling inspired, which is also a possibility, you know? Like, let's exit this black and white paradigm way of thinking, because just as someone can equally be jealous of you or like wish the worst of you, or, you know, again, feel threatened by you, there's also people that are going to be inspired by you. There's going to be people who are going to be moved by you, like you don't even know. They might say it and they might not. You just never know what your influence is, like, seriously. And so I think that's another aspect of it. Like, you don't know how people are going to take it, good or bad. But regardless, like, for your own good and for theirs, ultimately, whether they know it or not, thinking of yourself in the highest regard is going to be most beneficial for everyone. Because, again, that's how legends are created. Like, that's how people get inspired to be better. Like, I truly believe that if everyone had the tool they needed to succeed and to be like happy with their lives, like be confident, be content with the life that they live, the lifestyle that they live, a lot of things would look different in this world. Like, I feel like there wouldn't be as much violence, there wouldn't be as much crime. If people were literally given the things that they need to thrive in life, feel good about the life that they live, feel confident about the person that they are, a lot of issues would be alleviated. They would be exacerbated, because I do think a lot of problems are caused by misery. I do. I personally do. Once again, everything's projection. And so while there could be consequences, there could be, you know, you could have fears in being too confident, thinking too highly of yourself, blah, blah, blah. Again, as long as you're acknowledging that fine line of like not being cocky, not putting other people down in the process, life is always going to be better. Society is always going to be better when people think highly of themselves. Okay. When people think highly of themselves. And that's just period. Like, there really is no other way of looking at it. Whether or not you're influencing somebody, like, and they know it, you know, and they're aware and they respond positively and are actively, you know, maybe modeling their life after you, or like making decisions that are influenced by you, or they're envious and like low-key also are doing the same. You living in your purpose, you being you unapologetically, fully, will make this world better. Like, I think that's why we were created. I do think that like we were meant to make an impact. And so how are you gonna make an impact if you're not like authentically living your life, you know? I feel like it's limiting to not do that. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And so aside from like inspiring other people and like having an impact on other people, I feel like you're genuinely like, I guess expand on what I was saying earlier, your possibilities, like your life trajectory is very much determined by your relationship with and your perception of yourself. Like, if you think highly of yourself, if you're like, okay, I'm that girl, you know, a lot of the things that I've already said before, but I'm that girl, like, I'm so intelligent, I am so worthy, I'm beautifully made, inside and out, whatever it is, I'm just giving you guys examples. Like, I have like the biggest heart, and like I'm so loved, and all these affirmations. Like, as highly as you think of yourself is as highly as you think of your life, and essentially ultimately then molds the life that you create for yourself, you know, like molds your life. It goes hand in hand with like manifestation, right? Like, how good you think you are is how good you'll ever be. How good you think your life is how good your life will ever be. Like, you literally set the tone, you set the parameters for your life. And so think of yourself as beautiful and worthy and especially made, like gifted, like all these things, because that is literally what will open doors for you in your life. Also, it's hot as because I had to turn off the air conditioner now that it's summer, and it's so loud that I know y'all wouldn't be able to hear me. So please just ignore the upper lip sweat. But yeah, like, you create the possibilities for yourself in your life. So what are you gonna do with that? Like, you're gonna sit here and say that you're worthless and, you know, you don't deserve good things and you're ugly and you're fat and all these, I'm just throwing up again a bunch of examples out there, but is that how you're gonna talk to yourself? Because if you believe those things, you're gonna start attracting people and things that reflect that essentially reflect what you think you deserve because of those, I don't even know what you call it, not even affirmations, but the opposite of that. Like, you think all these negative things about yourself. Why would you think you're worthy of a loving partner? Why would you think that you're loving of somebody who uplifts you if you don't do that yourself? You know, like, whether that be romantically with partners, whether that be on a friendship level, like the types of friends that you start attracting, or whether it be like opportunities. Like, why would you go after this high-paying job, you know, this really good opportunity, when you don't feel like you're worthy, when you don't feel like you're smart, you don't feel like you're capable? You won't. You likely will not. You will tell yourself no before that thing or before that person tells you no. So why are we self-sabotaging? That's literally what you're doing when you're not seeing the value in yourself. And I feel like aside from, you know, you attracting negative things, because again, internally it is very negative, focus on the negative things. Because a lot of times it's not just a matter of like whether or not something is good or bad, negative or positive. It's a matter of perspective. And it's a cycle, essentially. Like, if you keep thinking of things as like negative, if you're focused on the negative internally, you're going to focus on a negative externally. Even if it's like that thing, which again, most of the time it's the case. Even if the thing isn't objectively a negative thing, like maybe something that happens in your life, maybe, you know, a certain situation, like that you're evaluating is just neutral. It just is. And maybe you'll focus on the negative. Maybe you'll focus on, maybe you had a conversation with someone and their tone slightly changed because they're not having the best day. Are you going to ignore it because they're just not at their prime and like it's not a reflection of you? Or are you going to give in to that? Are you going to add fuel to the fire and now create an argument? You don't always have to give in to everything. And I feel like when you're not securing yourself, when you're not confident, when you don't see the value in yourself, you're more likely to make something out of nothing. You're more likely to, again, find the negative in situations when like it could be taken multiple ways. Like you end up giving into negativity because that's all you have inside of you, negativity. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I think that's to say that like it begins and it ends with you, which kind of summarizes what I've been saying. That's why it's so important, once again, to focus on your internal world and making sure that you feel good about yourself. You can go through a lot of things in life, and you do. That's just the nature of life. It's never ever linear, and I say this all the time. But if you do, the only thing that you can control and you yourself can change is your perspective and how you react to the situations. And if you have a negative self-perception, if you don't think highly of yourself, you're more likely to think negatively of situations, of everything that like comes your way, essentially. So that's something that we have to work on, babes. That's also say, guys, like, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like I'm scolding you, right? Like you should be scolded for not being confident, especially with, again, how complex life is and how many curveballs are thrown our way, you know, collectively as a society. It's understandable to not always feel like a baddie. Understandable to not always feel like you're at your prime. Sometimes you are struggling with your self-perception. Like sometimes you are struggling with your confidence, your self-image, because life will do that to you. And that's not to be pessimistic, that's just to be realistic. It will knock you down so many times. And naturally, that might not make you feel the best. That might make you feel like a piece of shit. I think that's the best way to put it. And so that's natural. I think a lot of us, you know, we battle with that, you know, we struggle with that because it's hard to not internalize the things that we experience in life and see them as a reflection of maybe what we deserve or what our value is. But also, again, we have complete power in how we respond to these situations and how we internalize them. And if we want to internalize them, which we shouldn't always do, because again, things are going to happen independent of who you are. It happens to everyone. Like no one is, regardless of how much money, regardless of how much success, regardless of how much fame and the status and all that, and the beauty, like everyone goes through shit. Like everyone's knocked down. Everyone has their days when they don't feel confident. They don't feel good about themselves. There's an element of like being graceful to yourself because we all are figuring it out. We all are trying our best. We're all waking up and making the active decision to love on ourselves, because that is an active decision. Because we live in a world where, again, it's not encouraged in ways, or like we're kind of pushed to not love on ourselves. We're pushed to like sometimes go against ourselves. But I think the only difference between like the people who are successful and extraordinary and the people who are ordinary, who, I mean, obviously success is subjective, but the difference between, I think, ordinary people and extraordinary people is a decision to take a bet on yourself, to take the risk, again, to have confidence in your capabilities and confidence in yourself, to think highly of yourself, to have an unshakable self-perception. Like, because that will literally go a long way. That's why people say things like fake it till you make it, because it's not like it's in you or it's not when it comes to confidence. That's something that you constantly have to water. That's something that you have to like foster in life. And the people who are good at faking it a lot of times are the ones that basically can go far in life, because it doesn't matter how you feel every day. You wake up and you tell yourself, you know, all of your affirmations, you say, I'm worthy of a good life. I'm worthy of, you know, happiness. I'm worthy of whatever it is, a comfortable lifestyle. Like that goes a long way, because again, we all have our doubts, we all have our fears, we all have our anxieties, we all have our moments when we don't feel like we are worthy of things. But the people who decide to still show up regardless are the ones that are able to get far in life. And I guess this, again, this goes hand in hand with the conversations I've had with you guys before about being able to practice discipline in your life, where regardless of how you feel, you wake up every day and you decide to choose your dream life. When you decide to choose the life that you truly were made for, regardless of what your current circumstances, regardless of what your current reality, regardless of what your current emotions are. So, and I think it's interesting because I know I was watching Jay Shetty's podcast, which is very intriguing. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend. A lot of the things I talk about, a lot of the beliefs that I have, I feel like are very much influenced by, you know, by his podcast and different conversations that he holds with guest speakers. But I remember him saying, you're not who others think you are. You're who you think others think you are. Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. It's definitely a different way of like looking at it. I also like talked about this a little bit more in my other video about being delusional and like the importance of it, which I can link above for you guys just in case you guys haven't seen it. But delusion will take you further than you could even imagine, because what it really is like, while some people see it as insane, on the flip side, it's like you're able to see again past your current reality. That's really what being delusional is. Like, you're not limited to or by your current reality. You're not limited to or by your current circumstances. And so, girl, even if sometimes you don't think you look good, or you don't think, I'm not even gonna make it like superficial, because it's not always about looking good, sister. Like, sometimes it's okay to be bummy and still think that you're beautiful. You know, like, it might not be like the day that you're stepping, but at your core, you know that you're that girl. You know, like, yeah, it's like being able to see beyond what meets the eye, or what you feel immediately, I guess. Because there's like a deeper understanding of your self-worth. And so there's another point that I wanted to make, which is being confident is also beneficial, because you're able to not only accomplish more just because you think you're worthy of it, but also you're able to focus better. You're able to stay on track and lock in. Why? Because, and this might be taken differently, you know. You might disagree with the way that I think, but again, this is my own perception of things. But when you're super confident in yourself, when you have such a strong self-perception, you're not concerned with what's going on around you. And I'm not saying like, you know, again, on an extreme end, you're like not present at all, or you're not, you know, socializing at all. Like, obviously we want to avoid the extremes, but when it comes to being able to like focus in on what matters, you're so much likely to be able to when your attention is going inward. Because there's like a lot of people and things, and again, this kind of hints at what I was talking about earlier, but like, there's a lot of people and things that do not serve your purpose, that don't align with the person that you think you are, and you're not going to give it your time of day anymore, essentially. When you know you're above a lot of situations, you're just not even going to waste your breath. You're not going to waste your energy, because there's so much more that you can focus on. There's so much more that you can focus on in life that will actually, you know, relate to your purpose, that will align with the type of person that you feel like you are. You know, like, that's why people say things like, oh, I'm above this. Like, again, maybe some can argue, okay, that's cocky, like, who do you think you are, blah 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 blah. But also, on the other hand, it's like, no, if you know your worth, if you know what you're meant for, there's a lot of things that will be perceived as a distraction, because they're not contributing to the type of person that you feel like you're meant to be in this lifetime. Like, you know, a girl like you doesn't need to focus on stuff like that, so why would you? And that goes back to being intentional, you know. Like, we only make time for, we only invest in the things that continue to uplift us, that aligns with our self-concept, that aligns with the highest version of ourselves, which we should try to be stepping into every day, right? And if we are, that means that's something we're actively building. And if we're building it, that means we're choosing what we want to give our energy to. We're choosing what we want to invest our time and energy into and our resources into. So that's full circle, guys. Like, by the way, I'm using currently my favorite lip combo right now, which is the NYX. Girl, it's so run down. I don't even remember what the shade is. But this NYX lip liner, it's like a dark brown. Maybe it is dark brown. And then this Huda Beauty Faux Filler Lifter Gloss in Ooh Baby. Yeah, I didn't walk through like a lot of my steps today because I was locked in on the conversation, but I'm gonna top it off with the Tier Mask Fit Makeup Fixer after I pat down. Just want to make sure that it's blended well enough. But yeah, I'm gonna top it off with that. Forgot to put mascara on. And then I'm gonna finish it off with this Ruby Kisses Dewy Satin Hydrating Setting Spray I got from the beauty supply store. But I think that's it, guys. I feel like it all was kind of like full circle. But once again, I think confidence is something that's well known. Like, we have a general understanding of it, but I really wanted to sit down and talk to the girls about just like the importance of having it in life and just like continuing to work on your confidence, because again, a lot of these things that I talk about, they're very relevant to me, you know, and I feel like mine has been fleeting recently, and I do feel like there's a clear correlation between when I feel good about myself and I'm speaking highly of myself and when I feel good about my life, you know, and things feel like they're going well for me in life. So I hope this resonated with you guys. Please let me know how you're feeling about this type of content. Let me know if there's any other related topics that you want me to discuss. Again, I'm just having fun just chatting with you guys. So I hope you guys are also finding this type of content useful. I hope you guys liked today's makeup look. Let me know if you guys end up trying it. And I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys are staying cool. I hope you guys enjoy summer now that it's finally here. And I hope you guys stay tuned for the next chit chat with Titi Stella. Bye.
Something that makes me look at you too out there. Baby, you can give it something.